So you guys clicked on the thumbnail. We're making French dip sandwiches today, and I'm really looking forward to it. I can guarantee you that this is gonna be the best tasting bottom round beef you've ever had. And it's a great tailgating cook because the way we're gonna set this up, you can pretty much have all your food on the griddle. It's all gonna stay warm. Just working on tripods for us. It's all gonna stay warm, and whenever somebody wants a sandwich, you just carve a piece off and let them have a sandwich. You can sit comfortably. So anyways, it's gonna be delicious. Stick around, through the ingredients in a second.
French dip.
Woo, woo. So we're breaking the ingredients down into 3 categories. We've got the au jus sauce, we've got the meat and toppings, and then we've got we've got meat and vegetable, and then we've got the toppings over here. So you're gonna need a bottom round roast. This one happens to be USDA choice, $5.49 a pound, 3.4 pounds. We got mushrooms.
That's not a bad price.
That's actually more expensive than it usually is.
Is it?
It's like
Yeah.
$3.99.
It's usually
It
like,
used to be like in the $2 range just a couple of years ago.
so Marco and I at work were talking about this because yeah, they used to be like $3.99 and it would go on sale for $3.
Yeah.
Now you're up to $5.49 all day.
Yeah.
So the mushrooms, and I got onion pepper over here. These are optional. They're not necessarily traditional to a French dip, but we're gonna have those as toppings if anyone wants them.
Can't go wrong with mushrooms, peppers, and onions.
No, you can't.
On anything.
For the jus sauce, the way we're gonna cook the meat, we don't get a lot of pan drippings. So we're gonna use a quarter beef stock. I've got 3 cloves of garlic, 4 tablespoons of butter, and 3 tablespoons of flour.
No cook without butter.
Only half a stick of butter?
And then we're gonna spike that up with some basil, some oregano, and Chris, what's the name of it?
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. For bread and toppings, traditional Swiss cheese, but these guys like things spicy. So we've got some spicy Monterey Jack, and where'd the Wickles go? We got this stuff is delicious. Wickles spicy
That's
red
what you were
sandwich
trying to
spread.
distract.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking like fermented vegetables. I'm like thinking like,
Oh, that's good stuff right
that's
there.
really good. Nice.
And then
Put that on every sandwich.
Jeff's got the low carb wraps.
Yes.
And we got traditional sub rolls.
You can eat today?
Oh,
Oh, hey now.
As long as we're done this before 2.
Okay.
What time is it?
and then Jeff brought this heavenly horseradish sauce, which is actually quite tasty too. So you're gonna put that on yours, I imagine?
Probably, yeah.
So let's get to, all of this is gonna be cooked on the griddle, but we're gonna pre-cook our roast in the oven, but we have to trim that. So let's get to trimming. Let me grab some gloves. Trimming this is super easy, guys. Bottom round, typically, it's a very lean cut, and you typically have sort of just a fat cap that you gotta take off. I'll show you an easy way to do it.
I respectfully disagree. There's a lot that I could trim off of
Jeff over trims everything. So that, you basically,
that. See all those little pieces? You can get to those.
Oh, get
Yeah.
out of here.
yeah. So you wanna get all the fat off of it. Everything that you see on the surface. I know that, a lot of the time,
Especially that.
yeah, so a lot of the time we say, you're gonna leave the fat on, but in this case, this fat's not gonna do you any good. So we're gonna take all visible fat off the surface, which is usually pretty quick because like I said, they generally do a pretty good job of trimming it. And for the fat cap on the other side, I'll show you a quick way to do that. But there is a tendon that typically runs through this. Actually, this one doesn't have one, but sometimes you'll see a fat streak that runs sort of right through. You just have to leave that and cook it with it because it goes right through the middle. You're not going to get it. So here's the easy way: put it on its side, make it nice and firm, and just come in.
That's what she
And
said.
get under it. Just like that. Do some of this stuff. We'll just
Jeff,
clean up
that's for your dog, Jeff.
clean up these little pieces.
You did good with the last time I gave him scraps. you gotta spoil your dog once in a while.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. That's actually, there's
right
some
there.
nice grain on that. Actually, look, this is a good looking piece of beef. So the way we make that, one of the ways we make this more tender is we salt age it overnight. So we're gonna salt it, park it in the fridge uncovered for 24 hours. So let's do that now.
Heavy salt.
24 hours.
It's a lot of beef.
So I don't know how much salt you use, Jeff, but I wanted to get this on camera because, again, the guy I work with and I were sort of having a debate over it. I salt it as if I were going to eat it, not as if I were pickling it. So I hold it over the sink and I use about that much, more or less.
So on a roast, I would do like twice that.
All right.
And on a steak, I would do that.
Well, I'm glad
Like
it's
an inch thick steak.
I'm glad it's my video and not yours then, because this is all the salt I'm putting on.
it goes right through.
Why you gotta be so salty?
Extra credit for Chris. So you notice I didn't rub this with oil or anything. You know, you just go right to the salt,
It's amazing
all
how
sides. It makes it.
simple that technique is and how good it works.
Yeah.
Dude, it is ridiculous, the difference in flavor.
You see the flavor difference, the profile changes, and you also see the steak. Like the steak just looks better when you take it out. So one thing that's nice about this is you put it on something like this, whether it's a cookie sheet or a cooling rack, just to give it
Airflow on all sides. So that's 24 hours on that. You know, you can go less if you're, 6 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah.
But on a roast like this, 24 makes a big difference.
And I probably wouldn't go more than 36.
I've never done that. So
Yeah, I mean, it starts to dry out the outside too once it pulls the
becomes
moisture.
beef jerky.
Yeah, but if you can get to 24, it's ideal.
All right, so we're gonna make pretend that it's been 24 hours and we're gonna set the oven. This is the other way to make this super tender. We're gonna do an ultra slow roast. Okay, so 250. All right, so I'm not actually gonna cook this roast because we haven't had the 24 hours for it to salt, but this is really important. You need to use a temperature probe. You're gonna cook it at 250 degrees until it hits 128 degrees. Then you shut off the oven and you let it cook up to 135. And I know a lot of you guys are thinking, and I know you're thinking, Chris,
Overcooked.
That's what he's thinking.
Absolutely.
That's what she said.
But I'll show you, I have one that I cooked the other day. The 135 with this particular cut, it helps it get more tender and it's not overcooked.
Really?
Yeah. So, and this is actually not as, this has been sitting in the fridge, so it's not as red as it is in the middle because it's been oxidized. 135 is more than is higher than I would typically cook it to. I used to cook it to 125, 128 to get that red in the middle, but it's chewier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it does help a lot to go the extra.
a huge amount.
10 degrees.
A huge amount. See,
Yeah. It's red. It's medium.
you know. So you get that, and I'll cut you a piece. It's a really intense beef flavor. It's really tender. It makes a great sandwich, and it's way less chewy than when you cook it at a higher heat to a lower temp. So the 135 helps. So I'm gonna recap that again. We'll ask the editor to put it up as a graphic. You're gonna go 250 till it hits 128 degrees. Shut the oven off.
It takes about how long do you think?
It takes a while.
3 hours?
This is not a quick cook.
3 hours? 2 hours?
Depends on the size of the roast, but generally speaking, you're looking at about 2 hours.
Okay.
So just for the record, this has only been about an hour with the salt. You can already see it getting darker.
It looks
Yeah,
good.
the color changes.
All the salt
So I
is
get
absorbed
more
into the
light on
beef. Yeah.
So you sort of get that glistening skin.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah. So 250 to 128 degrees. Shut the oven off, let it cook up to 135, pull it out and tent it. Now, I do have one of those that I did yesterday. And this is what we're gonna be taking out to the griddle.
Well, you've done some practice this week.
I have a lot of beef.
Yeah.
I have a lot of beef. You guys are gonna be taking some home.
All right.
But that's what it looks like. So let's pack all this up, gentlemen.
Go outside.
Go outside and actually do some
Is this
cooking on the
coming
griddle.
out? No
All right.
rack.
We'll see you guys outside. So Jeff is cooking up that fat we trimmed off for, was this for the dog?
Yes.
One of the things I forgot to tell you guys, before you put that roast in the oven, season it however you want. I do salt, pepper, garlic salt, onion salt, and oregano.
I like that mix.
Yeah, it's a kind of classic with beef, but season it up before you put it in the oven. I'm gonna go ahead and get this started because this, again from the fridge, is pretty much just gonna sit. I'm gonna shut this burner off and that's gonna go right there and just start warming up. Just leave it.
I like it.
It's a thick enough, big enough piece of beef that it's not actually gonna cook through, especially with the burner off.
Yeah.
It's just gonna start to get warm, you know?
And the good thing about this is it's, you say self-serve, but you are actually gonna
Yeah, so I'm gonna
make
cut
it
up.
for us.
You're gonna make your bun. I'm gonna cut the meat and then throw it in your bun, and you get to eat whatever you want.
Perfect.
So next up is we're gonna start with the jus,
Yep.
because the jus is gonna take some time to come up the temp.
I like it.
This burner on the right is off. I got the other three on low. I'm gonna start with a roux to help give a little body to the jus sauce. We're gonna do that right on the griddle. Everything else is gonna be done in that pan.
With the fire so we can maybe
So we can warm
a
up,
little
yeah. In case you didn't know, it's cold here in New England right now.
Look at you. I thought you would be gonna do that all in a pan. Look at you. I like it.
Well, I'm thinking this is the fastest way to brown it. And not that I really want it brown, but a little bit of a blonde roux. Just take the rawness out of the flour. Actually, it's so cold out, I think I might go up to medium on these 2 burners just to get this done. Actually, all 3.
I hate to say this, Nate, but I think you need more butter.
Thought I would never hear you say that.
Right.
Chris. Starting to smell that nuttiness?
Yeah.
It's gonna be tasty. All right, so while that browns up a little bit, I'm not actually cooking the garlic on the griddle. Garlic's going raw.
Yeah.
Right in there, and that's because I want the garlic to impart its flavor into the jus. And if I cook it on the griddle, it's gonna get more mild.
Nate really likes to say the jus? The jus?
Oh,
You're definitely a French guy.
All right, let's say, what do you think? Good enough?
yeah. It's starting to get some color. You smelling it?
Let's get that
It hasn't bonded yet.
in here. Jeff, you can throw the beef stock in.
How much?
Until it's just about full. And Chris, can you grab the basil and oregano? That's nice, dissolved nicely, no lumps.
Oregano?
So I'm gonna say about a tablespoon of each, okay?
How'd I do?
It's going to take a while.
How'd I do?
I'm debating if that's going to boil or freeze first.
It's a fair question. So the thing is that kind of in the theme of this is not active cooking, that can sit there for a good chunk of time,
Yeah.
you know, and just slowly get warm. But that's also why I'm starting with it first.
It's a great idea for like a Patriots game where you're out there with your
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Or a team that wins.
Right.
grill. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. You know, it's a lot of the time when you're tailgating, you have to have a way to sort of hold the food, right? Because it's cold out and everybody's bringing food and you don't necessarily... When your food's warm doesn't mean it's the time that other people are ready to eat it.
Right.
I hate that.
Right.
Man, do I hate that.
Yeah,
You tell everybody.
Nate hates it too.
It's ready and they don't come eat.
Because the people that might watch this might
You're
know
like,
I'm
yeah.
talking about them. But
Hey, this tastes, this would have tasted great 5 minutes ago when
Now
it was
it's
warm.
cold.
Now it's either cold or overcooked.
yeah.
All right, so this is
Happens.
also pretty easy. You just dump all the...
Now that's not going in. Is that going into the au jus?
No.
No.
That's for side topping.
All right.
Yep. This is your optional topping. So we're gonna let those go. And how can you not love the smell of onions, peppers? So this is what's gonna happen if you're doing this tailgating, right? People are gonna see this
Show up.
and they're gonna show up because they're gonna be like, what is that honking piece of beef? What is all this?
Right.
It smells delicious. So now, guys, we get to take a 5-minute break because
Nice.
all we gotta do is just sweat these down and let them get to the degree of doneness we like.
Walk away. Go play a game of cornhole. Bread's got cold quick.
This stuff's been sitting here for a while. We got a nice fire going, try to warm ourselves up. But here's the thing, that beef that's been sitting there, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up, but it's a nice rosy pink, right, Chris?
No,
Saw
looks
that?
good. Looks really good.
So we have the left burner on low, everything else off. It's just putting out enough heat to keep things warm. So when somebody wants a sandwich, as you see what Chris is doing, I'm gonna start carving up some meat, thin as you can. Oh, you know what we forgot, Chris?
Oh, the Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. A couple dashes of that, just kick it up a little bit. Now I'm falling behind on carving meat. And you're not trying to warm the meat up on the griddle. The heat of the jus is gonna help warm the meat. Honestly, as thin as you can possibly shave this is your best bet. Doesn't have to look pretty, it just has to be thin.
I would like mine to look pretty, please.
Of course you would.
Just like you, Jeff.
Just
Pretty.
like me.
Pile going over here. I think Chris is hungry.
You think?
Yeah.
I do. Say when? More?
This is good for me.
I love the garlic floating. This.
Yeah. Smells outstanding, huh?
Oh yeah.
Wow, his sandwich looks great. Anyway, so that's it. There you got a bottom round French dip sandwich, delicious au jus sauce, nice toppings. It's gonna stay warm here for at least an hour. You know, anyone who wants one, come over, cut it. Thanks for sticking around, guys. I hope you try this. Hope you have fun.
Thank you for this. This is delicious.
Sweet. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one. Stay warm.